Welcome back to OneMD Health, where science meets soul. Welcome, everyone. I am so excited for our guest here today, Ramona Haywood. I would like to say a few things before I introduce her officially. And what I want to know is, have you guys ever thought about what happens in the hospital when one of your loved ones gets admitted? So today we're doing something a little different. This is a different side of me. So as you all know, you know me as the doctor of functional medicine, of longevity medicine, holistic health, holistic healing. I'm not sure if all of you know that I also am a hospitalist. So what is a hospitalist? Well, it's a medical doctor that basically takes care of patients in the hospital. And my particular job, I do it for 7 days on, 12-hour shifts, and then I have my 7 days off where I practice functional medicine and longevity medicine. So Ramona is a lovely lady, a lovely PCT that I have been working with patients for the past 10 years, I believe we're working with you. 10 years we have worked together to take care of patients together as myself as a physician and as a PCT. And what I love about this particular episode is this is the side of medicine that nobody sees, that really needs to be discussed. We spend a lot of time talking about hormones, nutrition, longevity, and disease prevention, right? But healthcare isn't just lab values and medications. It's not just hospitals. It's not just doctors. It's nurses that take care of you in the hospital. It's the PCTs that help you walk when you cannot walk and really listen to every conversation with patients. So, again, you are very close to patients more than a lot of physicians and even some nurses. Patients tell you everything. They probably tell you things that they don't tell us, which is really interesting. So, right? And so I've had the pleasure of working with her in the hospital. She's hilarious. She's compassionate. And honestly, one of the people who make me feel great during my toughest shifts ever in the hospital. And to me, that's wellness. To be around someone that can make you laugh, that can just cut the edge off a little bit, right? And just during the toughest times, right? Exactly. So please welcome Ramona, everybody. And Ramona, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here. And I'm just ready to get in with questions.
Yes. Well, let's go. So first thing is I would love for you to just tell the viewers about yourself and what brought you into healthcare, what made you want to become a PCT, and
Yeah, so I could give you a little bit about that. I've been actually a PCT for about 30 years, maybe plus a little. What inspired me to become a tech was caring for people, period, at a very young age. There was a little situation where my mom had to take care of my grandfather. So she moved him from Mississippi to Chicago. And when she moved him here, she was like, oh, he's just a little sick. I'm like, sick how? What's wrong with him? But come to find out later on, I learned that he had dementia. And he was very confused. And so that put the wheels on for me to say, oh, we got to watch him. So there was a case that we went to school, came home, granddad was long gone.
Oh, my.
He got out the door. Uncle was there to watch him, and Uncle wound up doing him. He got out the door, so what happened was we all sent out a search party, called the police. He had walked, if anybody know, like, the city of Chicago, from literally, like, Austin area to Montrose. He had walked a long ways with just a hat, shirt, no shoes, and his undershorts.
Oh, my goodness. That's like the horrible thing.
Yes.
Oh,
so
geez.
that inspired me to say, hey, people, elderly, have to have or need someone to connect and take care of them and watch over them. So I think that was my first real inspiration to say, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do this. So I think that's where it came from, which is my grandfather. And he's passed away, but rest in peace.
Well, did you always know you wanted to help people in that way? And they're the most darkest times?
Yes, even from a very little girl, I've always had like cats, dogs, and when they got sick, I nurtured them, I babied them, I wrapped them in blankets. I did everything that a nurturer would do, and that was me. So I think this was ultimately my destiny And, with that being said, sometimes you get a little sad too. You get a little misty-eyed, but you pull it together.
You do. You pull it together.
Because we're all only human, so.
We are all human. So what I want to say is I think a lot of times people, I think, wonder, like, so what is it like working on the floors in the hospital with other physicians like myself? So what do you feel goes on, like, on the floors with all of us when we're taking care of patients? Like, where do you feel like the doctors are coming from, and then where the patients are coming from, where the nurses and the PCTs are coming from? It's really a team, right? It's a team of how we take care of patients and how we make them feel comfortable. Right. And what have you observed as a PCT that has been kind of a little interesting?
Observed is
that a lot of other families of patients don't see what we go through.
They don't. So typically what I observe coming in on a normal day, a normal day is me wearing rollerblades or roller skates. Now, if you're older, it's roller skates. If you're young, it's rollerblades. And the minute you hit the floor, the wheels are up. It never stops. It doesn't stop. From the call light, from the families coming to the desk. When we have repeatedly asked, could you just use the call light, please? And they're flooding the desk. They think that when we're just sitting there, that we're doing absolutely nothing. But that is not the case. There's charting, there's communication on the phone, there's ordering meds with pharmacy for the nurses. There's even us ordering supplies that the patient may need. But of course, the family walks to the desk. Oh, you're not doing anything. Oh, I need a cup of water. Or, oh, I need some ice. My mom's been waiting. So those are the type of things we deal with. So it's a full-fledged, ongoing, just when you get in there, you're on the move.
It's like nonstop. It's totally nonstop, especially when I come on the floors. It's like literally like nonstop. Okay, you have like 6 different things happening all at once for you. Yeah. I mean, I remember one time everybody was screaming, and like this one patient was screaming, and this one family member was angry, and then this other nurse was just feeling overwhelmed. I remember just looking around, and I remember being like, what the hell is going on here? Like, what is this chaos? Yeah. And I remember you, Ramona, being like, sit down, doc, you got this. And I just so appreciate that. I'm like, oh my God, somebody's actually looking out for me. So I feel like you look out for the doctors too.
As well. Yeah. I mean, in the line of work, we have to watch out for one another. There's, I often tell people, like, your character, your title does not make your character.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It's a piece of paper. God places everybody where he needs them to be. And if he didn't want you to be in that position, you wouldn't be there. If he didn't want me here, I wouldn't be here. So ultimately, we still have to have a heart and care for one another as a family. And I often tell people when I'm there, hey, family, I'm home. Because we're there 12 hours. 12 hours
12
is my
hours
home.
Together.
Yes.
And I think people, I think, like, outside family members or like my outside viewers, I think they don't understand, like, yeah, the hospital is our family. Like, you technically are my family. I see you more than my family sometimes.
Exactly.
Like 7 hours on, 7 hours out. Like, the team, like the hospitalist team.
And not to add insult, but especially when we pick up. Yeah. When we pick up, you see us even more. Right. And typically I pick up quite a bit, but then sometimes I have to know when to separate it. Right. Because you can overload yourself. So I try not to overload me because I don't want to treat people bad, and I don't want to feel, give more negative energy than already negative news that they got. So, yeah.
So what I'd like to know is, like, what is the funniest thing a patient has ever said to you or done to you? Like, what are, like, I guess what I want to know is, what are the common things that you see in the hospital that nobody could ever understand unless you work at the hospital, and like what doctors go through, nurses go through? Like, what could be some insight in that? Like, and I know we've had a lot of poor patients have dementia, and like they're literally dropped off at the ER,
and that's it.
And they have no family, and they've been sitting in their, like, filth, unfortunately, for weeks, and they have nowhere to go. And what it's like to take care of a patient like that, and what it kind of does to you. Like, how does that stay with you when you go home, and like what does that bring?
So in the beginning, when I first started doing this line of work, it did stay with me, and it was more like a personal feeling of, like, can I continue this? But then I had to learn separation from when I go home. When I go home, I leave work at work. I try not to, unless it's just a heartfelt case that I needed to speak on and get my feelings out, then I do it that way. But if it's just a case where it's just, okay, let's keep that workflow at work and home at home.
Right.
But we get some funny cases
so
where
let's talk about it.
we have to, like from surgeries. A lot of people get a lot of lap appies and other surgeries. What happened is the doctor put the order in that they have to walk. And they'll put the light on. Oh my God, this pain. I said, you didn't walk. Did you walk today? Well, no, the doctor said I could just rest and relax in bed. I said, no, that's not what the order says. And the funniest thing, I said, I read the order. You're supposed to walk 3 to 4 times a day. And he was like, oh, you read the orders? Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah.
We get a lot of credit for things that the patient think that we cannot see and do, but we have access. So there's times where they get up, oh, I got to get rid of this pain. I said, all it is gas. If you continue to walk, it would expel.
Right.
And I said, honestly,
the gas would expel.
It would expel.
Exactly.
This is the perfect place to be to let that go.
Right?
Walking in a hospital.
Right. Let's talk about that. Because it's like there are a lot of patients, unfortunately, listen, you're the sickest you've ever been when you come to the hospital. It's a very vulnerable time for patients, and, they have to get better. And we find that, unfortunately, a lot of patients are like, well, no, I don't want to walk in this gown.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk in, I don't want anyone to see how I'm
They
looking.
want to get dressed. They want to put on robes. They want to look their best. But in this case, it's not about looking your best. It's about getting to that best point in your life where you feel better so you can get back to looking your best. A lot of them want to put on their own pajamas, and they have drains and tubes, and we was like, this is not going to work.
Right. You just got to be nude.
Right. Nude is the way. I agree.
Nude is the way. See, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Nude is the way.
Especially in the hospital. It's like there's no reason to be shy.
No.
Like you've got it. If you're not, like you said.
Right.
Like if you're not sick enough if you're scared of that.
Because I have had cases where I'm walking one and I see one passing me and the gown is just all open, all the backside is out. I'm like, oh, hold on a second. Let me just tie you up a little bit. I mean, this is the place to be nude, but not completely nude.
Some are a little too comfortable
Yeah, they're
with
too
it.
comfortable.
It's a little too comfortable with it. I mean,
Yes.
it's just, and the misunderstandings that can just happen with all of that. And,
Yes, easily.
And especially when they get out of bed, these poor patients, like, oh my God, where did they go? I mean, how many times have we almost lost a patient in the hallway? Like, okay, where did they go? Yeah. No, come back. And I want to talk about this a lot in this episode because, when I started OneMDHealth, the idea was preventative health, especially working as a hospitalist alongside you for so many years, like 10 years of my life at the hospital I work with you, and then another 8 years of a previous hospital. And the way I look at it, just seeing these dementia patients and seeing how the fact where, they don't know where they're going, they have no idea what they're doing, they're trying to hurt you, smack you, they have no idea where their families are. And my biggest thing of starting OneMDHealth is like brain health, brain preservation, way before it becomes to that point. And I guess what I'm asking is what can you tell viewers, especially of the line of dementia that you have seen with patients, what can you tell them that why it's so important for health prevention before it gets to that point?
Well, I think it's important. One of the reasons would be you have to, diet and exercises can help with a lot of that, but also just with loved ones facing that, you need to have family. Family is important to be on deck and you see what they're going through day in and day out. For somebody to be alone and not really sure of what the brain is doing, they become afraid.
Yeah.
So now they're at that point where they're totally afraid, and we get them. Yeah. And unfortunately, we have to protect ourselves first and then the patient as well. So this preventative measure is to protect everyone. We usually start out with soft restraints, And then,
I know.
right. And unfortunately, we hate to have to do them like that, but you have to. It's to protect them as well as us. But as the time goes, depending on what their diagnosis is, some of them, medicine can help calm some of the situation down, whereas it's safe for them as well as us. So we typically start off with the soft restraints, and we are the advocators. We are the one that have to say, doctors write the order, and then we have to apply. And I had a case where a man was like, you're treating me like an animal. You wouldn't do animals like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're right, but animals are not acting this bad right now.
Right.
But we're only doing this to prevent you from harming you and us.
I mean, you definitely play a very huge role in that. I mean, we just write the orders. Like when we are dealing, unfortunately, with when we get the call, oh my God, patient is agitated, taking off lines, taking all this, and you have to write the order for the antipsychotic, right? And then they still are not calm. And I think what breaks my heart in that is that sometimes there's no family around, there's no familiarity, and so that's where you come in and you basically give them that calm environment. Okay, like what are you gonna do? It's like literally teaching a child again.
It is.
Right? It's like,
It is.
okay, what are you going to do different? Are you going to calm down if I remove these restraints? Right. And I think the idea is that, we go through that like in the hospital every day in, day out, and it changes you.
And it does.
It changes you because you realize how important community is.
Yes.
Family means so different to everybody because and as you know, as we go in the hospital, we deal with toxic family members that don't really want the best for their loved ones. Right. And sometimes family comes from friendships. It comes from other relatives and also from great PCTs and nurses like you. Really, I do mean that wholeheartedly because you're the one that is calming them down. Oh, yeah. And you're the one that helps me get them off those soft restraints.
There's times where I have patients that been in restraints where I have been in the room maybe more than an hour or an hour and a half just sitting, keeping them calm, talking to them. So again, that's where it's important that if family is available, and for the ones that don't have family, we try to advocate and be their family at that time.
And you definitely do.
Yeah.
Yes.
We advocate to be their family at that point in time.
So the big question really is now, do patients tell PCTs things that they never tell their doctors?
Usually.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to want to know. So what do you, because you spend the most time with them, you're in their most vulnerable position, and what do they tell you? I mean, do they tell you about the personal life? Like, can you describe a time where they talk with you about things that they don't mention to their physicians? Like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, what is usually like the dynamic, and what can we make patients feel more comfortable in talking?
Let's see. I believe there was a case, one, I'm not for sure, but I believe it was a case where they had like issues with their scrotum.
Okay.
And it was like severely enlarged and in pain. And when the doctor come, it was a gentleman, and he wouldn't stress like the area of the pain, and I'm like, well, how are they gonna know if you don't tell them?
That's pretty important,
right?
Like
pain in the
scrotum. That's very important.
Yeah, you're telling me that it's, and then it was a case where, if you pull a curtain back, I could show you. Why didn't you show the doctor? I can't. Yes, so that was the case, right?
Oh
show
my
it
goodness.
to the doctor. If you pull a curtain back, I won't let nobody see. But I'm like, that was the purpose when the doctor was here. You were supposed to let them know.
Yep.
Now you're showing it to me. So I was like, do you want me to take a picture of it and like show it to him? I mean, I'm confused. The doctor's gone now. So I can't assess that to that magnitude, but I can just relate the message. So I get some rare cases where as soon as the doctor's off site, they do everything different. Oh, is the doctor gone? Because I meant to ask.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best, right?
Right.
I meant to ask this question. Like, okay, why didn't you just tell us before there?
I said, look, today is a different day. The doctor's coming. I don't know what time because we don't get schedules, right?
Right.
I said, so here's what you do. I said, look, do I need to go get a notepad, a piece of paper for you? Write down all the questions you have, because when the doctor comes, this is your opportunity. Because when they walk away, you're asking me, hey, could you page that doctor and let that doctor know that, hey, I'm in pain here. I need this. Why didn't you tell them?
Why didn't you tell them when they first walk in? What do you think that is? I mean, it's just like they just get intimidated, or do you think like they just feel like it's not that important? Or
I don't think it's more of intimidation. I think a lot of the times they waited for a period of time, and then when the doctor came, it's like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Everything is good. And yeah, I'm okay. And I'm like, that's not what you said.
That's not what
to
you
me.
said earlier.
Right. So I don't think it's intimidation. I just think it's just like they want the doctors to think that they're okay, that they're well, and they really don't have to be there. Or in some cases, like, I'm ready to go home.
Right.
So just like, look good, fix good, and hey, I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. Can I get a discharge order? And then when they leave, oh, my stomach is really in pain.
And it just never gets better.
Yeah.
It's
so
crazy.
I wouldn't say intimidation. I just think that they really want to be in a place where they're healed, but they're not.
I think as physicians, when we come in and go see the patient, we make decisions, right? And we move on. That's it. We make decisions, we move on, put in the discharge order. But you're spending hours with patients, and you see things that we don't always see. So that is very valuable. I think I remember, I think a lot of doctors even come, like even including myself, I just come and ask you, like, do you think the patient's ready for discharge? So then what happens then at that point?
Oh, there was a case where the physician said alongside me, hey, how you doing today? I said, I'm good. How are you? Well, he was like, what do you think with 44? Do you think they're ready to go? I said, from my standpoint, they're good to go. They're clear to go. But I'm not the nurse. I'm the tech. And the doctor actually wrote the order and put the order in and said, okay, well, you could just let them know. They could get dressed and go. I said, okay. And I walked away. I said, I got to find a nurse because I need to let her know that the doctor put the discharge order in.
Got to make sure, like, you're ready to go.
Right.
Oh,
so that was too funny.
That's
and
hilarious.
It happens to me a lot. They'll come and say, oh, did you get the order for the patient to have vancomycin? And I'm like, oh, yeah, we got that order. And he was like, okay, well, just you can start the hang. You can send the pharmacy. And I'm like... Yeah. I'm like, okay. So me, again, going to find the nurse. I said, oh, the doctor put the order in for that vancomycin, so you could call pharmacy and let them know that they can send it up. Yeah. So I get a lot of that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think, what I also want to talk about, so there's always a lot of funny instances that happen in the hospital, the things that we'll never forget. And I think my take home here for patients and patient family members, it's like, considering what we see so much in the hospital, I want to talk about a couple things, like the physicians that round on the patients in the hospital, like physicians, including myself. Do you see our struggles day to day, what we go through that other family members don't see? And what would you, if you would want to talk to family members, what would you want them to hear about, the hospital team, the physicians, the nurse techs, like what we deal day to day, like how they can make things more better for their loved one in regards to us, kind of thing?
Well, I've seen from day to day that a lot of the family members come in figuring like, oh, a lot of times the doctor's just in and out, in and out. I said, no, they're not just in and out. They're in, but if you guys are not around to advocate for the ones that need help, what happens is the physician just goes in, drop a few words, and then they're gone. And the family member is like, oh, well, nobody's been in. My mom said the doctor hasn't been here. Doctor's been here. I was a witness to that. Yeah. Doctor's been here. Doctor wrote the orders. Well, they didn't do anything for her for this pain. Well, she didn't stress that pain for them. And again, it's important for family members to jump in. Now we get some family members that just overpower the situation and take over. And then that's where it becomes frustrated for the physicians, the nurse, and the tech. Because now we got one saying, well, nothing was ever done, and it's this way, and nobody cares here, this place. Yeah, so we get diverse people.
Yes,
where,
we do.
Where they're calm and they're understanding, or we get the erratic ones that just like want to rip our heads off for something that we cannot control.
Right.
So we get all sorts of, but I think like we have a ultimate awesome team, from doctors to nurses to techs, even our dietary, places like that. They'll bring up trays. They'll let us know if they don't let us know, if they make a mistake. Oh man, I made a mistake on this, that. So, I mean, I think our line of communication is really, really strong. That's how I feel.
That's how it should be, like with it being very, very strong.
Because one cannot do without the other. We all have to, we have to play our part, and we have to be fair and cordial to one another.
And I think that's what's really important that I want to get down and stressed down for this, is that I find, and I'm sure you agree with me, find like, the hospital setting, overall healthcare, everyone's very frustrated with healthcare. Oh, yes. Everyone's very angry about healthcare, frustrated with it, that, when my loved one comes in the hospital, they're not being managed, not being taken care of. The doctor doesn't care. Oh, the nurse didn't do this, do that. And I think it's so important to hear stories with you and myself that we do care, and we're all exhausted. Yes. We're all overwhelmed. We're all stressed. We're all trying to adhere to every person out there and every patient out there. We are every patient's advocate. And I think the point of this, what you just said, is communication and a feeling of community, a feeling of we're in this together. And that is what I do tell family members when I speak with them. Like, listen, we're not against you. Like, I think the biggest thing, what I feel, is like, say, insurance denies rehab. Oh, my goodness. We are all to blame. Nurses, PCTs, all of you. You didn't do this. You don't care. You just want to kick them out. And it's like, no. It's just, we are doing our best in this healthcare system.
Yeah, and we cannot override insurance, unfortunately. No. And to bring,
we try.
To bring back a little bit of that with the insurance, there truly was a case that the insurance with hospice had changed some criteria. I don't know if it was ultimately that, but to be hospice, you actually have to be bed bound. And so we had a case where a young lady was not fully there, but her diagnosis led her to be in a month or so. So they put her on hospice, and she found the joy of going to and from Starbucks with either staff or fiance. And
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, somebody got wind and said that hospice said that it was no more, that she can leave the floor. So she had to stay in her room. Yeah.
She had to stay in her room.
She had to stay in her room.
Even though that was her joy.
Yes, she had to stay in her room. And shortly, her diagnosis was a month, but I think a week in, she declined after hearing that, and that was no more. Her fight was not a fight anymore.
So, going to the story, obviously, this has been a patient that you'll never forget.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
It's definitely changed you, and you realize, you realize after taking care of these patients, young, old, cancer diagnosis, hospice, chronic disease, you realize how valuable and how fragile life is. Working in the hospital has definitely changed me for that, and for you as well, And so, one question, I know we have to wrap up soon. When people are sick and vulnerable, what do you feel they really need during that moment in time? Basically after hearing this, what you just said, what do you feel was missing with her? Because she declined very quickly after that, right?
Very quickly when she was denied. So I just feel like they need a sense of their own ownership, something that they can control. Because at this point, any serious diagnosis, you have no more control. You lose all control. So I think at that moment, her sense of control was just, I'm able to freely go down and get a cup of coffee and come back up. But that all changed. So we have to have some sense of being able to control some little part of our life that's left. And at that point,
that's the frustration, right? When you're diagnosed with a chronic disease or a end-stage cancer, which we see, that's what scares patients, is that they have no sense of control anymore.
Right.
They really
just
lost
don't. All power. So the only little power was for her just going downstairs, and she wasn't even walking. Someone was wheeling her down, and to bring her back up, and they was like, no, we can't. It's the rules for hospice, and that was it.
That was just it. Ramona, before we wrap up, what's one thing you want people listening to remember about overall health and aging? And because we see it, we're around it all the time, and we're all going to get old one day,
Absolutely.
Even though I practice longevity and I want everyone to feel fabulous at every age and anti-aging, but we are going to eventually age, and working in the hospital is a reminder of that. So what would you want people listening to remember about life? Because we see it in the fast forward.
Right. I just feel people should know that life is very important. You should live it to the fullest, but yet not abuse it to the point where you're not taking care of yourself. So it is very important to take care of yourself, your loved ones, and to meet everyday goals. And also remember that, whatever a person is going through, whatever little power they feel that they have, we need to be advised that they need to keep that, because that's very important to keep them thriving as long as they can.
I love that. I think today's conversation, personally, is such a beautiful reminder, that healthcare isn't just about medicine. It's not just about hospitals. It's not just about doctors and prescriptions. And it's so much more. It's about people showing up for each other.
Yeah, you got to care for,
Right.
You have to, in order to do this line of work, you have to have some kind of heart to share. I mean, hearts can get mushy, and you can get real comfortable, and it can be overbearing sometimes where you hear sadness all the time. But the good of caring for someone outweighs that you having like a real emotional day, because there has been time where we had real emotional. There's been times where we laugh, we giggle. Even the patients say things that may be funny. We had one, he told a young lady, he said, her hair was not done. She said, "Oh, I need to go get my hair done. She's a tech." And he said, "Oh," and he looked at her. He said, "Oh, well, I'm a beautician behind closed doors." So we died laughing. I said, so
She's
in other words,
beautician.
He was a beautician.
Oh, he was a beautician behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors. So,
I'm going to remember that one.
Right. He's a beautician behind closed doors. I'm like, did he really say that?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there are funny, good times, and there are sads. And I think that's what leads me into this field.
Well, thank you for sharing your stories,
Oh,
your
no
humor,
problem.
and your heart with us. And thank you for being there for me when I'm on the floors rounding, like having beautiful souls like you around.
Absolutely.
Makes me
No
so
problem.
grateful to be in a field like this, and helps me keep going. Because a lot of times it kills me as well. But you being there, and this is just to show everybody that, you can't do anything alone. And you need your community. You need people by your side, whether it's the hospital, the office. Your environment dictates your wellness.
Yes,
It really does.
it does.
Loneliness kills. And,
Yes.
And that's where we see our patients dying with the loneliness.
with the
and
loneliness.
even physicians that are just struggling. It's just about kindness and just being kind
Yep.
to one another.
That's all we need,
Because
just a little
it's
bit.
so priceless.
Yes, I
Thank
agree.
you again.
Thank you for having me.
It is such a pleasure. Until next time, everyone, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting OneMD Health Podcast. Please like and subscribe if this podcast resonates with you. If you have any questions, please visit my website, SamiyaHashmiMD.com.